Hi everyone, welcome to our class on operation management. We are going to discuss the first module. The first module is the introduction to operation management. And as you can see, the weightage of this module is only 5%. The overall weightage of the subject operation management in 100 marks paper is 60%. Out of 60%, you can say the 5% is the weightage of this topic, the first unit what we're going to discuss here, and 5% of 60% would be 3 marks. Okay, so I don't know how will you see 3 marks. Maybe for many people it would be very less, but anyway, it doesn't matter, it's less or more, because we are starting the subject and we are starting the unit. So we have to ignore the marks part, and first we need to go through the topic. So in the introduction to the operation management, the first topic which we are going to discuss is the scope of operation management. After that, we'll discuss the features of modern operation per functions, and then we'll discuss recent trend in production and operation management. So first module you have three topics: scope, and then characteristics of modern operation functions, and third you have recent trend. All three topics are very small topics, and you can definitely expect theory questions only, and these are very basic content is there. Okay, and 3 to 4 marks you can expect from this. Next, when we'll start operation planning in demand forecasting, okay, we have numericals. So if you love numericals, then that your curiosity or your thirst of doing more numericals will start fulfilling from this top 2.1. But anyway, the first we are going to discuss in the class is scope of operation management. This would be purely a theory topic. Fine. Going further, you can see we have 7 modules, and the content is not very difficult and all. It's more theoretical in nature. And wherever numericals are there, I will do the numericals for all of you. Fine. So going back to the topic which we have to discuss today. Now we're going to talk about scope of operation management. Okay, so in 1.1, we are going to discuss unit 1.1, where we'll discuss the scope of operation management. And after studying this module, you'll understand the concept of the operation management. You'll identify the resource utilization objectives and describe the objectives of the operation management. So we're going to discuss the concept and objective. What is the objective and concept of operation management? So basically, when we talk about operation management, it is all about how organization they take raw materials or inputs and they turn them into useful product or services that the customers need. I think everyone understand this topic. So more or less, if I have to gather the information of working on operation management, what is operation? Operation is all about you're performing some action, where what action you're performing, you're trying to transpose something which is a raw material into finished good. So when you're trying to transpose your raw material into finished good, the set of work in progress, the activities what you gather in work in progress, that is what is achieved by working on operations. Okay, so operation management is all about how an organization they consider or they take the raw material or the inputs and they try to convert them in a useful product or services. So the output what you are trying to achieve would be either a product or it can be either a service. So whenever we engage ourselves in operations, we basically handles two kinds of things. It can be tangible product or it can be intangible products. So tangible products are those products which you can touch, like phone. Intangible products are those products which you can't touch, maybe service based product, like here the example is given of Netflix. Okay, like suppose if you take the subscription of Netflix to watch the movie, so operation management here covers all the activities that includes dealing with movie makers to get the transmission right. Okay, so like if you are if imagine if you are trying to subscribe to Netflix, So what would be the process of operation management? It would involve working with movie creators, uploading and managing the movies in the database. Okay, then handling the live streaming or recorded versions. So here operation management, when you are engaging in service industry, would be more about how it will make sure that you watch your favorite shows smoothly. Like in normally if you have Prime or Netflix subscription, so normally in weekend or Friday you will find some movie coming there. So you want to make sure that you want to watch the movie. So the operation management would be all about how you can make sure that you get the better experience of watching the movie and without any kind of hassle. And in between, nowadays many put ads and all. That would be the way of generating revenue. The other way, when we talk about uh, the other example of how operation management works, it basically deals with product centric. So when you talk about product centric, maybe where you are trying to make a tangible product. Service centric means when you are trying to create an intangible product. So as an account student, you all know what is tangible, what is intangible. Okay, giving you an example of product centric, can we suppose if you want a smartphone. So here the operation management includes getting the raw material. It can be chips, batteries, screens, assembling those parts. Okay, then testing and checking the quality, working on the maintenance and storing and distributing the phones to the customers. So the operation management ensures that you get the working smartphone. Fine. So when we are trying to talk about operation management, so basically it is all about how the organization takes raw material or input and turn them into useful product and services, where they basically deals either with uh, product centric business or customers service centric businesses. Okay, example here to understand operation management is all about how you convert your raw material into finished good. Here I given you an examples where my examples are either product centric. Whenever operation management is engaged, it is trying to create some output which can be product centric or service centric. Sometime when we work on operation management, it can be the combination of both. Okay, so we cannot think that every time whenever you are working on operation management, you will always have the output as a product centric or tangible, or output as service centric or intangible. It can be the case where you need both product and services. For example, if you visit a retail shop. Okay, so if you're visiting a retail shop, you buy products or goods, but at the same time, you also want the help from the salesperson. Okay, you want a very good experience. Okay, and you want a convenience while shopping. Imagine if you went for the shopping and the salesperson is not very good, is not giving you proper information. Maybe person like me who have very less knowledge, technical knowledge about phones and all. Imagine if I want to buy a new iPhone and I went to a store and there I have no idea that 17 is better than 16 or 15, whatever. And if I end up in buying and paying more money for the product which is not very efficient, then it will automatically affect your perception about the product and perception about your further sales in the particular outlet. So it is very important that we want like here in retail shopping and all, we want experience also, and we want kind of support also from the custom salesperson who can give us appropriate guidance. At the same time, we want ambience, we want convenience of buying. So in fact, tangible and intangible, either goods and services, it follow a trade-off between uh, considering the scenario what you are looking for. Okay, so basically operation management objective, it can be either customer service or it can be either resource utilization. So far what we have discussed, guys, Okay, the going and talking about the objective of operation management. Have you understood what we have discussed so far?
Yes,
Gagana,
sir.
Gag,
Yes, sir.
simple thing. So anyone, Gagana, can you summarize what we have discussed so far?
Sir, we have understood about operating management, meaning of operating management,
Yeah, yeah. So what you have understood by the meaning of
and
operation
scope of.
management? So basically, what we have discussed that the operation management when we are talking about. Okay, so what is operation management? It is all about converting your raw material, okay, into finished good. Operation management, it's all about the process where we are engaging in an activity so that we can convert our raw material into finished good. So the processing which involve in converting the raw material into finished good, that is what operation management is all about. Okay, so whenever we are working on operation management, it is all about how organization they take raw material or input and turn them into useful product or services. So whenever you engage in the activity of operation management, okay, you will either try to create tangible products, okay, tangible, you are trying to convert a tangible, or you're trying to create a intangible. So in operation management, whenever we are engaging, we'll try to create a tangible or we are trying to create a intangible. Okay, tangible output, we are calling that as a product, and intangible output we are calling as a service. So sometime whenever we are working on operation management, our process of business is more product oriented, or it can be either service oriented, and sometime it is a combination of both product and service. Example, like when you went to buy some retail outlet, something maybe Diwali shopping is there, you went to Chroma to buy some electrical outlet. Okay, so sometime you need the combination of both product and services, and sometime whenever you work on operation management, it is more about product oriented, or it can be about service oriented. So after all, operation management, it's all about a process where we are engaging on input or raw form to make sure that it is get into converted into final or finished product or services through a process. Okay, that is what operation management is all about. Is this part clear, guys? Same thing
Yes, sir.
you have studied in accounts and all that thing. We all know about this. So next thing to discuss is the objective of operation management. So we have discussed what is operation management. Now talking about objective of operation management. So here we are dividing the objective into two parts. One is customer service. The another objective of operation management is the resource utilization. Okay, so when I talk about customer service, so here the aspect of customer service is given. Okay, here the aspect of customer service is given. Before talking about the aspect of customer service, I think these all are very simple, basic concept which everyone knows. You just, for the exam purpose, you just need to memorize what is operation management, and you have to memorize the objective of operation management. The two objectives are there: customer service and resource utilization. So talking about customer service is basically means satisfying customer needs and wants. Okay, so customer service, when we are talking customer service, it means the services for the satisfaction of customer. Okay, what the customer want, the service what the customer is expecting, uh, the product what I created है ना, the what I did in operation management, I try to convert my raw material into finished good. The finished good what I have created, and the output what I have created, is that output really satisfying the customer needs, Okay, so this is what the objective of the uh, operation management. So operation management job is to make sure that the what the company provides, it should meet with the customer expectation in the term of specification, in the term of costing, in the term of timing. Okay, so it in short we can say that operation management should ensure that the right thing at the right price at the right time. Okay, so the three parameters what we are focusing in the customer service, those three parameters are specification, costing, and the timing. These are the three parameters what we are talking about in the operation management in the customer service. So we have to make sure that when we are talking about customer service, okay, the we have to satisfy the customer needs and wants. Okay, so basically when I talk about specification, the product or service should be what the customer want, right features or quality. Maybe what I'm expecting, I'm getting an iPhone 13, maybe just like that. Okay, so then the salesperson should pitch that product, that iPhone 13, what I'm looking for. If you're trying to pitch iPhone 17, which is beyond my requirement, and then end up in giving me not very good satisfaction, then it does not serve the objective of operation management. So when we are talking about specification, everyone, when we go for shopping, we have certain specification or certain detailing in our mind. And when we go to the outlet, we convey the same thing to the salesperson. And the salesperson has to make sure that they give us, they suggest us the right product having the right features or the quality what we are looking for. The next thing is the costing. Okay, so the costing is the price of the product, so it should justify it. And the third thing is the timing, that the timing means it should be delivered at the right time. I'm looking for Royal Enfield, and imagine, in although I'm so much desperate of having a Royal Enfield, but imagine if I'm not getting in time, and if they delay the what do you say, the delivery of the particular bike, then it might affect my satisfaction level, and then I may switch to some other product, maybe Java or Rajdoot or whatever, which more or less match with the requirement or specification what I'm looking for, and costing more or less would be same only. So when we are talking about customer service, here we are talking about three parameters: specification, costing, and timing. And ultimately here the operation management is all about getting the right thing. Okay, right thing comes under specification, at the right price. Okay, right price comes at the costing, and at the right time. Okay, so this is what the feature of customer services, where they can be a different aspect of customer service, which based on what customer want from the company main functions, either manufacturing, transport, supply, and services. So discussing for more on this part, uh, first parameters, principles, what the customer want, those are the principal functions are given under manufacture, transport, supply, and service. Okay, so before we talk about the aspect of customer service, have you understood this customer service objective of the operation management in customer service? This part, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Can
Yes, sir.
anyone little bit? Rajshri, can you just explain the customer service?
Yes, sir. So the basic objective is customer service, where we have to see whether the customer's needs or wants are satisfied.
Hmm. Where here three points they have mentioned. Imagine if we are getting this question, then three points are specification, costing, and the timing. Getting the right product at the right cost at the right time. Okay, that is what we are looking for here. Now we'll go further and discuss the aspect of customer service. The functions here we'll discuss. The first function is manufacture. So when we are talking about manufacture, to manufacture, to basically we'll talk about product only. We are not going to manufacture the services. So main focus of product, the main focus of product manufacturing is like the customer want goods that meet certain required or acceptable standard. Okay, the other factors which engage in manufacturing are costing. So the costing is the price of the good or the cost of making them. The next is the timing, how long it will take to deliver after the order is placed. Okay, so here the four parameters of customer service is given to us. One is manufacture, the another one is transport, the another one is supply, the other one is services. Talking about manufacturing, so in manufacturing, we are focusing on the specification. I hope you are understanding. We are talking about the specification that there are a lot of standards are there, ISO 9000 standard or FSSAI standard. Like if you go to have food in some outlets and all, so it's written the foods are of this standard everywhere. Some halal standards, some standards are given. Or whenever you go for any kind of buying of any kind of product, so here you're looking for the specifications. So whatever the specification you are looking from the product, the goods should meet that required specification. Where the other parameters which comes here is the costing and the timing. The next one is the transport. So the main focus of transport is to make sure that the movement of good that meet the required or acceptable standard that need to be delivered at the particular timing. Timing matters. Now we are looking for a product and maybe I'll get the delivery after 1 year of that product. So waiting time or delay in getting a response of having the product will ultimately detach you from the product. So the timing matters a lot. So transport, in transport we are talking about the timing. Next parameter we are talking about the supply. So when we talk about supply, here we are talking about basically what the customer wants in a good of a required or acceptable quality, where the parameters is the costing, the price or the cost of obtaining the good, and the next is the delay between the ordering and receiving the good. So again, transport and supply both may more or less same thing. Supply is nothing but it's a part of manufacture plus transport. So whenever we are giving an order, so when soon we'll get the product, where it should not engage too much costing, and it should not affect your timing of getting the product. So supply basically you can say it's about the what do you say, indirect cost of getting the product. Direct cost of getting the product is the COGS, cost of goods sold, is the basically the manufacturing. Okay, the manufacturing COGS is the direct cost of getting the product. Supply is the indirect cost of having the product. So the other costs are involved of when you are trying to get the product, what you are when you are engaging in the activity of converting the raw material into finished good. So the direct cost what involved that comes under manufacturing, and the indirect cost which involves considering the timing, considering the quality of the product, or meeting your specification, that comes under supply. Then the next thing is service. So the what the customer want a treatment or service that meet the required or acceptable level. Okay, where the cost of service is again important. Next is the how long the service takes, the waiting time between the service begins. Imagine you bought iPhone, or and then you are finding that there's no outlet where you can go in case if you are having any kind of problem in the phone. So whenever you are getting any product, okay, getting the product is the good thing. You got the product, you got the product with the kind of specification you wanted, that also you got. But imagine when you are using the product, when you are engaged in wear and tear, depreciation happens, and here and there they might require some kind of services, and a post sale services. Post sale service is very important. And imagine you are not finding the outlet, you're not finding the service center, and you bought Mercedes, you bought BMW, and while buying you got from the outlet. But when you start service, when you start searching for the service center, in case if you find any kind of issues, and if that is not treated well, then or you're not getting the outlet only where the servicing can be done, then it will definitely can detach you from the next time purchasing of the product. So basically in customer satisfaction, when we talk about customer service, we are talking about here specification, costing and timing. And here we have talked about the four aspects. One is manufacture, other one is transport, the third one is supply, the fourth one is service. Clear everyone? So discussing the objective of operation management, the first objective is the customer service. The first objective is basically the customer service. Okay, so when we are talking about customer service, what we are talking about here, we are talking about getting the right product at the right time and at the right cost. Okay, that is what we are talking about here. Okay, we are talking about specification, timing. Here we are talking about specification, we are timing, we are talking about costing, and we discussed the four aspects. What are the four aspects, guys? Manufacture. What are the four aspects? Manufacture, transport, supply, and service. Clear, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And
Yes, sir.
yeah. So generally, an organization will aim reliably and consistently to achieve certain standards or levels on these dimensions. An operation manager will be influential in attempting to achieve these standards. So hence, the objective will influence the operation manager decisions to achieve the required customer service. So can you just brief me what the customer service is all about?
Sir,
Can you?
customer
Hmm,
service
hmm,
aims in satisfying the customer needs. It has three um, main things, which is specification, cost, and timing.
hmm,
So, aspects of customer service are manufacture, um,
Manufacture,
transport, supply,
transport,
and service.
supply, and service. Very good, Vita. So here we are considering these parameters. Okay, when we talk about customer service, the next we are talking about is the resource utilization. The resource utilization basically means using all available resources efficiently. Okay, so when you are engaging the activity of converting the raw material into finished good, we will definitely need lot of we need lot of uh, products. We need lot of resources like timing, like labor, like machine, like material. So it's the proper utilization of resources uh, to make sure that we get the end product without without inefficiency, with maintaining the proper standards what is being required. That is what we are talking about. So operation management is concerned essentially with the utilization of resources, obtaining the maximum effect from resource, or minimizing the losses, underutilization or waste. Because guys, imagine if you are engaged in operation management, and if you create a product, means creating an output or a product or the finished good involving too much cost. So if your direct and indirect cost of converting the raw material to finished good will, if suppose it if it rise up significantly, then automatically it will increase the costing. Because the costing is when we calculate the costing, there we are talking about the cost price of raw material plus the cost price of labor plus cost price of uh, management, the cost price of machines and everything, and the all the indirect cost what is engaged in converting. And imagine if the proper utilization of raw material is not engaged, then it will create pollution, it will create inefficiency, it will increase your cost. So inefficient use of resources or inadequate customer service lead to commercial failure of the operating system. So whenever we talk about resource utilization, it is all about how we can utilize our resources so that we can achieve the customer efficiency in the product. Because every customer, when they look for product, they make sure that they are looking for a particular specifications, and if resources are wasted or customer service is poor, then definitely the business will fall. Okay, so basically, the key point of what we are engaging here when we are talking about resource utilization is to make sure that the resources are used in a way that satisfy the customer while keeping operations effective. And we have to make sure that we have to avoid waste and underuse or misuse of the resources. So I think you are getting the topic. So when we are talking about the objective of operation management, the first is the customer service. The next one is resource utilization. Okay, to how we measure the resource utilization, it is all about by checking how much of the available time, space, or capacity is being used. Like for example, if you're measuring machine usage, or you are calculating labor hour or space utilization, and then you have to make sure that there should be balance between customer satisfaction and the efficient utilization of resources, so that it will improve uh, in giving excellent service that might use extra resources, and definitely it will save resources, which will definitely would reduce the service quality. Therefore the manager aim is to have a balance between the two rather than maximizing one. Okay, so the two parameters, the two aspect what we are looking in the resource utilization, one is customer satisfaction, other one is efficient use of resources. Okay, so it's not like you want the best to best product for the customer and you end up in creating a product which is too much expensive, and it involves too much resources, it lead to too much wastage and all. If you are doing like that way of business, then I don't think your business will survive in the long run. Okay, so you have to make sure that you create a balance between the two. The one is the customer satisfaction, the other one is the utilization of the resources. Okay, so basically when we are talking about customer service objective, the goal is to satisfy the customer by delivering their them goods or service of right quality and specification at the right cost at the right time. When we talk about resource utilization, it is the goal is to make sure that the company uses resources like material, machines, labor efficiently, where it should mean that it should achieve high productivity by avoiding wastage and making the best use of available resources. You are getting this, guys? So that the two objective of operation management, customer service and resource utilization, and they should be balance between them. Okay, you don't just do business where you are trying to make sure that your customer get the best to best services. Okay, best to best services, if you are trying to, because there's no end of satisfaction level. No, imagine if you have given some service to the customer. Okay, but next time the expectation level will be more. You achieve that expectation level. Then next time would be more. You cannot make sure that your end customer should be satisfied to the fullest expectation, because every customer, there when you talk about the expectation level or utility perception is very different, and my perception would be very different from your perception. And if as a businessman, if you are trying to make sure that every customer perception getting satisfied and nurtured, then that way you are somehow making a compromise with the resource utilization. So the objective of operation management is to make sure that the customer service objective is also fulfilled. At the same time, resource utilization objective is also fulfilled. Making a balance between the two is something which is very important. That means achieving high productivity by avoiding losses and making sure that we have the best use of the available resources. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now, discussing about the scope of operation management. So, when we talk about operation management, it focuses on turning inputs like raw material, labor, and machines into output like finished goods or services efficiently. So it ensures that the customer achieves effectiveness, efficiency, and adaptability while meeting their customer needs. Although it is different from areas like marketing or finance because it mainly deals with physical process of production. So when we are talking about operation management, you are getting it. Operation management is all about converting your raw material into finished good, making sure that the requirement of customer is achieved, making sure the efficient utilization of resources is done. But it is different from other process like marketing or finance because here we are engaging in the physical process of production where the main areas or the functions of operation management. First one is the location of the facilities. Okay, deciding where to set up the factories or service center. First is the location of facility. This is very important. Then once we have discussed or once we have zeroed down on the location of facility, then the next parameter to discuss is the plant layout and material handling. We are designing the physical layout of machine and how materials moves within the plant. This is the next parameters what we need to think about. Then we have to talk about product design, okay, then process design, then production planning and control, quality control, material management, maintenance management. Product design is all about creating the good that meet the customer needs and they are economical to produce. Process design is all about deciding how production will take place, like what methods and technology we are going to use. Okay, when we talk about production planning and control, it is all about scheduling and managing the production process to meet the demand on time. Then, when we talk about quality control, it ensures that the product or services meet the quality standards. That is very important, guys. Material management is all about making sure that we need to make sure that the we should manage supply, storage, and flow of material efficiently. And when we talk about maintenance management, it is all about keeping machines and equipment in good working condition to avoid any kind of breakdowns. So these are the main areas of operation management. Uh, can you brief this point, Gagana?
Yes, sir.
Can you brief this point, scope of operation management? 8 points are given.
Yes, sir. Scope of operation management. In that, we know that first we have to know the location of facility where we have to locate the management
Where
and
we have to locate our production plant or service facility plant. Okay, the
oh,
location is important. Imagine you want to start maybe Amazon ka delivery center, and if you thinking to do it in MG Road or maybe in Jayanagar and all, you know that that is not possible because those are very expensive areas of Bangalore. Next, the delivery center what I want to create of Amazon, that would require a lot of space. So next thing I need to think that Amazon delivery center, if that is in the Hoskote or maybe if that is Neil Mangla and all, then it would be more, so what do you say, satisfying for me because
that is fine.
there I'll get more space also. Getting space is a problem in the center of Bangalore, but in outskirt of Bangalore I'll get the space also, and the costing would be less also. And the third thing is that since I'm not starting shop, I'm not starting a shop of Amazon in Neil Mangla where maybe my customers will not able to reach. But I'm just starting a delivery center where the salesman will come, they'll pick the order and they'll go and deliver. to the defined places. You are getting me? So my business model
Yes, sir.
is to give product to the customer at their at their doors. So if I'm looking to give product to my customer at their doors, then location of my facility is none of their business. What they're looking to get the best product at the better quality. Some people, some outlets, some businesses are like maybe like non-veg. You heard of Lysias and all. So so for them what matters is to give them a fresh. If you are eating fish and all, then you want fresh fish. Okay, you don't want a refrigerated fish and all. So there you have to make sure that the particular end product what your customer is getting, that should meet this requirement or specification in some other way. So their handling would be different. So ultimately, location of the facility is all about where should be your facility, considering the costing, considering the end product what you're delivering, considering the other parameters. Okay, it can be the management, it can be the layout, okay, it can be how you handle the materials, and like you have to, once you located the facility, then you have to think also the layout. Means you, once you designed, once you have the location, then how will you plan the location? For that you need to have a layout, so that there, if you don't have a proper layout and all, okay, suppose you boiling something, and then whatever raw material you're boiling, it need to be put into some other machine, and that some other machine is far away from the boiling location, then then the efficiency will affected, resource utilization will be affected, misuse will happen more. So first we located the plant, then talking about the designing, the layout of the plant and how the material will be handled, so that the resource utilization should be achieved. That is something we are looking for. Then the product, because ultimately you are doing a business of converting the raw material into finished good. So the finished good what you are trying to create, what is the design of the product? Okay, so is this design is really meeting the customer need or not? Imagine you are creating a product which is not at all satisfying the client need. So then wasting time creating the product, talking about layout and all other thing is useless thing. And once you have the product design in your mind, then talking about the process design, like how will you able to achieve the raw material to finished good with the proper plant layout, making sure the resource utilization is achieved, making sure that the wastage of resources of all that is not done. Then that requires lot of planning and controlling of the production. And then when that will happen, you have to make sure that you meet certain quality standard. You have to make sure that the resource utilization in the sense of supply, storage and flow of material should be achieved, like economic order quantity. Like when you are talking about raw material or you're talking about inventory, and then keeping too much inventory will also does not make sense. You have to make sure that you are getting inventories at the right time, so that your process or or your conversion of raw material to finished good is on the smoother phase, making sure that the machines and equipment which you are engaging, because ultimately to create the raw material into finished good you need machines and equipment where you are engaging your process, that need to be maintained in the good working condition, so that your breakdowns and other things should be avoided. Is this clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So can you summarize whatever we have studied so far in this chapter?
So, sir, first we learned the meaning, definition, and the meaning of operational management.
Hmm.
And then we came to the objectives of operation management. two main
Hmm.
objectives, that is
Hmm.
customer satisfaction and resource utilization.
Correct.
So both are somehow interconnected. We have to balance both of them equally.
Correct.
And then in customer satisfaction, I mean, in customer this thing, we even saw the aspects of customer service,
Hmm.
which are four aspects: manufacturing, transport, supply, and service.
Very good.
So they all run on three main parameters, which are specification, cost, and time.
Hmm.
And then we came to resource utilization, where we
Hmm.
have to use all the resources efficiently and effectively, and
Hmm.
also meet the customer needs.
Hmm.
And then we came for the scope of operational management. So it is like basically how we start it, like from the point we
From
select
the
the
scratch.
place
Yeah.
where,
Hmm.
yeah, from the place where we set up the factory, we
Hmm.
choose the location, then the plant layouts, like how we start from the starting itself till the last. So it's all about in the operational management
Hmm.
we studied in this session.
Okay, very good. So basically, just we need to remember the points in the sense where we're going to locate the plant. Once we start, when we thought of the location, then we need to plan like what operation would be at what place, layout and all we need to plan. Once we have the layout and all, we have to think about the product, what product we are trying to create, how that product will achieve the end objective, then what would be the flow of manufacturing of the product, keeping making sure that the qualities quality control because quality specification, because whenever you engage in any kind of business you have to take permission from governing bodies. Okay, labor, like if I'm doing a business on stock market, so the when I'm so I have to take permission from labor department, and someone is doing some business. I like for my business I need to make sure that stock market business whenever I'm doing, I have to make sure that I follow SEBI, Stock Exchange Board of India requirements, their compliance, due diligence, everything. So whenever you engage in any kind of business, you have to make sure that the activities what you are engaging, it need to meet some kind of standards like Six Sigma, wastage, and other things. You have to make sure that it should be minimized, and you have to make sure that you handle your raw material in efficient way, making sure that inventories and all what you're engaging, and that need to be handled appropriately, because many times some businesses engage those kinds of raw material which are perishable in nature. Like I gave you an example of non-veg. I gave you an example of maybe food business if you're doing, and so you cannot, if you're selling chicken this, chicken that, and all, you cannot make 100 kgs of chicken, and then whenever the customer will come, you'll give him whatever they want, because they are some kind of raw material which are perishable, and you cannot store them and all. If you can store them, then having too much inventory is fine, but if you cannot store them, then it become a problem. So here these are the parameters what we talked about in the scope of the operation management. Like it can be location of facilities, deciding the best place to set up the factory or the production unit. It can be plant layout and material handling, planning how machines, okay, the workers and materials are arranged for the smooth workflow. It can be product design, designing what the product will look like and its features. It can be process design, designing or deciding how the product will be made, what or which production process will be used. Then production planning and control, where we're talking about what to produce, when to produce, and controlling the entire production process. Then it talks about quality control, ensuring that the product meet the required standards and customer expectation. Then material management, making sure that we manage raw material inventories and supply chain efficiently. Then maintenance management, it making sure that machines and equipment are in good working condition to avoid any kinds of breakdowns. So if I give you an example of a product manufacturing company limited. Suppose here the company name is XYZ Limited, okay, and which manufactures product. So the company needs to make sure that they take certain decisions very appropriately. Like the first decision what they need to take is what to produce. And economics also we have studied these terms, what to produce. So there in what to produce you need forecasting. Okay, this is the first and the most important question. Okay, like here I mentioned product design. Okay, so here in the area of production and operation management we talked about product design. So product design is all about what to produce. Okay, so when we talk about what to produce and all, here we need to think about what the customer want. Okay, the type of product, it features, it quality, and this also we need to make sure that we can predict the future trend and customer demand, which requires the better understanding of demand, which requires the better understanding of customer expectation from our product. Okay, the next thing is that once the company decided what to produce, the next question what should come in the customer mind is how to produce. Okay, so when we talk about uh, how to, not how to produce, is the next question is how much to produce. So when we talk about how much to produce, for that we need to think about that the customers or the customer expectation, what we have about the product. Once we have decided like which product is being produced and of what specification, we need to estimate how much it take to make this product based on the customer demand, and which is basically determined by the demand forecasting. So the forecasting here help the company to plan their daily, weekly, monthly or yearly production quantities. Okay, and the next question here is to where to produce. And we talked about now deciding the where we can start, location of the facility. Okay, so the next thing is that where to produce. First we talked about what to produce, how much to produce, because if you did a mass production, and imagine this iPhone 17, thousands of iPhone 17 I have manufactured in my Apple iStore manufacturing and all, but hardly 2% of Indian people buy iPhone and all, then imagine what will happen to the remaining. So once we know that we have created the best of best product called iPhone 17, which have the best to best features, but imagine we don't know how much to produce, then it become a problem, because every product is not like phone and all, which you can store for n numbers of years and all. And every product that what you're looking for, there are some products which are perishable in nature. Forget about perishability and all. Think about, imagine you manufactured 10 times of the expectation, 10 times of the demand of the product. Then what will happen? People, limited people will buy. Everyone will not come to buy the iPhone, right? Limited people will buy. Then after 1 year or 2 year and all, again you have to come up with iPhone 18. Because why iPhone 18? Because till 4 5 years everyone is not going to dependent on iPhone 17, because you have your competitors, you have your counterfeiters will definitely will come up with the similar features what iPhone 17 is having, and gradually with the time the demand of your product will reduce. And then if you have too much of inventory of the finished good which you are trying to sell in the market, but now the demand got shifted, because with as the time passes, people expectation with the product also changes. Okay, so how much to produce is very important after what to produce. Next is the where to produce. Where to produce, we talked about the location of the production facilities. Okay, next is the how to produce. In how to produce, we have to talk about process selection and the plant layout, like what methods or machines and layout should we use for the efficient production. And the next thing is that when to produce. So in the when we talk about when to produce, here we are talking about production scheduling, deciding the right time to start production so that we meet the demand without overstocking. That is very important, guys. So basically, here we are talking about five parameters. What are those five parameters we are talking about? We are talking about five parameters. Those five parameters are what to produce, then how much to produce, then where to produce, how to produce, and when to produce. Is this clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Simple thing. Only thing for the exam purpose, you have to by heart these terms. Otherwise, these are very basic and all. Any question if you have regarding this, please ask me. है ना? So what to produce, how much to produce, where to produce, how to produce, and when to produce. These are the questions which we need answer. So basically, these decisions help the company to run their production process smoothly, efficiently, and profitably. And after deciding what, where, how, and when to produce, a customer must think about other important questions. Those important questions, what the company should look for are: do we have the material to produce, which relate to the material requirement planning and inventory management, which ensures that the company have the right material available at the right time. It involves sourcing, selecting suppliers, and managing the purchases. Then the next question, what the company is looking for is like, are we producing the right thing? Okay, the quality management is required. The first thing, once we have discussed about what to produce, how much to produce, where to produce, how to produce, when to produce, then certain basic questions can come in our mind, talking about inventory management, then quality management, maintenance management, and a distribution or delivery process, where questions like, do we have the materials to produce, and a raw material, you have your idea in your mind, you know what to produce, and you know that it have demand also, everything is fine, but to produce that you need raw material. So what is the sourcing of the raw material? How will you get that raw material at the right time? Okay, that is what is very important. The next thing is that, are we producing the right thing or not? Okay, so that there the quality management comes into picture, to make sure that the product meet the required quality standards and customer expectation, resource utilization. Then the question coming in our mind is that, are our machines working properly, where we are talking about maintenance management. It focuses on keeping machines in the good condition so that the production runs smoothly. Then the next question is coming, how to reach the product to the customer. Okay, once your product is ready, everything is done, then you need to also plan for the distribution or the delivery planning, where the transportation, warehousing, maintenance, and material handling, all that comes into picture, which are the part of the logistics. Okay, so in case if the organization is practicing sustainability, then the other decisions areas can be a reverse logistic. And all reverse logistic means that handling product return, because many time it happens now, people will not like your product. And maybe for my daughter, I'm looking for shoes of maybe size 3, and by chance I got the shoes of size 4. So reverse logistic is important na? The objective when you're doing business is not about giving the customer at the right time the right product, everything, but many time it happens that maybe the product what is handed to the customer, maybe it damaged or some issues happen with the product, or maybe the customer is not looking that product, or maybe the customer change their mind. Then reverse logistic is also very important, guys. So thus basically the main decision areas what we have discussed here is your product selection, which is all about deciding what product to make. Then next is the facility location selection, which is all about choosing the right place for the factories. or production unit. Then next is the demand forecasting, estimating the future customer demand. Next is the process selection and layout design, which is about choosing the production methods and arranging machines. Next thing is the quality or the capacity planning, which ensures that the company can produce enough to meet the demand. Next is the aggregate planning, master production schedule, which talks about planning the overall production level for the given time period. So basically here we have spoken about basic parameters, guys. Those, I think, more or less you know these parameters. Either it is product selection, facility location selection. Already we have mentioned demand forecasting, process selection and layout design, capacity planning, then aggregate planning means planning overall production levels for a given time period. And these 5 points, any 6 points, any doubt?
No, sir.
Simple thing. Then next thing is the material requirement planning or manufacturing resource planning, distribution resource planning, enterprise resource planning. Means here we are talking about coordinating between materials production and distribution. Then inventory management is all about how we can manage our raw materials, work in progress and finished good. Then supplier selection or sourcing means who will give us the raw material. Choosing and managing our supply is very important. Process management is all about how we can work on controlling and improving the production process. Quality management is all about ensuring that the product meet the required quality standard. Maintenance, making sure that the machines on which we do the our business will run, will convert the raw material to finished good. Those machines and equipment should be in good condition. Warehouse or transportation, their storage, movement of goods. Reverse logistic, where return goods should be handled properly. Or recycling, if we are working on that, should be engaged appropriately. All that is something which we need to engage here. So with this, we ended the 1.1. 1.1 was all about the scope of the operation management. I hope you have understood this. Any doubt, guys?
No, sir. Understood.
Okay, we'll do this much today. We'll start the next topic tomorrow. Fine.
Okay, sir. Same time at
Yeah, same
7.
time. 7:80. Same.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Sir, will you be sharing the recorded session?
Yeah, I'll send you the recording. In the
Okay, sir.
group only, in our WhatsApp group, I'll share the recording.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.